The other day, I scripted an entire video. I filmed it, I took photos, I imported all the files onto my computer and looked back on the footage, and I hated it. I could tell there was something off when I was filming, like I was stumbling on my words, and I just didn't like the makeup look I was creating. So I was really down on myself for a second there, but then I got to thinking, maybe when we're having these points of resistance or conflict with something we're trying to create or do, whether it's in our style, our creative work, our jobs, maybe our body is trying to teach us something when things just like aren't feeling right. So today I want to have a conversation about some of these themes because I think it's important to honor your cycles, where you're at, and also honor when it feels like things are changing and you just have to start letting go of past versions of yourself, because we tend to hold on to things because we have like a sense of identity wrapped into it. And when it comes to my style and my creative work here, I definitely have certain patterns I fall into or things I think I should be doing. Emphasis on that word should. But things feel so much better when you're just feeling like you're really expressing from an authentic place. And I just think there's a lot to be learned from these points of conflict. So I want to dig into this, share some thoughts. So let's get into it. Let's talk about honoring one's cycles first. And what do I mean by cycles? I mean, we live in a society right now that really demands the same thing of people every day. For the most part, people have full-time or part-time jobs or things they have to fulfill on an everyday basis. And in these type of workplaces, it's this idea that everyone's kind of operating at the same level every day. But the fact is, we are human, and that's just not how we work. Nature doesn't work like that. We are part of nature, and our society has a lot of trouble working with that. So as I said, when I was filming this video, just right from the beginning, my energy was off. And it wasn't just off, it was like bogged down. And I just didn't have that spark that happens when you're feeling like really creative and productive. It just simply wasn't there. Now, there's some things to consider with that, with me as a woman. I'm on a 28-day cycle. What's really interesting, if you haven't heard this before, is men are actually on a 24-hour cycle with their hormones. So the workday actually follows a cycle very similar to a male hormonal cycle. And then the woman's cycle throughout each week, we're at different points in our abilities, frankly. So I was in my luteal phase and just feeling tired, bogged down, and I did not want to film. I didn't feel creative, but I felt like I had to push through because, as I said, we have all these demands to show up the same every day. This isn't to say that men or people who don't have a 28-day cycle don't also feel these energetic shifts and times when your mood is different. But it is to say that there's something that I could be honoring here as a woman that I'm not. I'm just ignoring. So the video I was filming was super creative, and it was like really involved with details of like history and mythology. And this might have been better saved for a time when I'm in my follicular phase and feeling just generally more energetic and creative. So in response, I was thinking maybe I'll film a video like this, something a little bit more musing, a little bit more self-reflective. And the fact is, nature is something we need to take more inspiration from. There's seasons. We have winter as a time of deep rest for the world. We have the moon cycles from the new moon to the full moon. And yet we've created this world where every day we're supposed to show up and be the same version of ourselves. So before I thought about how am I going to honor change and what's not feeling right and how am I going to move through it, I was really thinking about how I should start honoring where I'm at every day and just go with it. And every day is different. So you may have plans for something. You may have an idea of what the day is going to look like. You may have an idea of what your style is going to look like that day, and just things are not turning out right. But maybe if we can be a little bit more in tune with ourselves and honor the fact that this is a day you might need something else from yourself, more care, more quiet, and just really start honoring the idea that change is normal and change is natural. All right, so we're honoring our emotions, we're honoring our energetic levels. What does that have to do with our sense of identity and moving into new versions of ourselves? Well, it's all about honing in on that aspect of just honoring change and moving towards a next step. So, as I was doing this video, along with just feeling energetically not myself, it also had to do with the makeup look I created. I have this idea in my head that as a makeup creator, I should be doing colorful looks and bold looks. And that's what it is to be a makeup creator online. But I knew I didn't like these types of bold green shades and dark multi-chromes, but I did it anyway because once upon a time, I loved that look when I started my Instagram. And I love it on other people, don't get me wrong. But when I wear that makeup, I just feel like not myself and I immediately go and wash it off. But what's the point in having a creative practice if you're not even enjoying it yourself? Maybe it's time to honor the next phase in your cycle, your growth forward on your journey. So for me, that involves just really shifting into some new styles I'm exploring. I've been turning to like makeup I never thought I would, like light blush tones that just were like left by the wayside and I would pick up and be like, I would never wear this. But lately, that's what I've been gravitating towards. And I just really want to start creating looks and creating videos that just feel like I'm creating them with ease and it feels like something that's part of who I am now rather than that past version of myself. The person who liked all those bold Instagram looks, the person who liked really dark and witchy and grungy looks. Maybe for now, I'm just going through the next phase. Maybe things are just gonna feel a lot more inspiring and in flow if I just honor what I'm feeling and notice that my body is telling me something. Because like, why hang on to this sense of identity around being a makeup creator who creates bold looks, right? I feel like we have just like a lot of sense of identity that gets wrapped up in certain things. And sometimes that does manifest through our style. So I would really like encourage you to think about, are there things like you used to love? Say it's a dress, you used to love it and you'd wear it and you'd feel your best self, but lately you put it on and it just doesn't feel right. But there's really no specific reason why that is. Maybe honor that. Maybe honor the fact that you simply are a new person because we literally are changing every day. And it's so interesting to work with those changes, right? Like it started when I did that Aphrodite look and it kind of unlocked some new version of myself. And I was like, I'm ready to explore this. And it's definitely similar to some things I gravitated towards before, like this idea of ethereal looks and dreamy looks, but I want to dig deeper. I want to really hone in on that. I'm loving this, even this new color palette that's at my disposal, whereas I would just like turn my nose up at like lighter colors. Now I'm moving into this new self and it just feels right. And honestly, that came for some of the type of scripting I was doing. As I said, there's a lot of history involved, but I felt like everything was really new to me. I hadn't really taken the time to really process and learn the information. It felt like I was rushing. Maybe sometimes I need to honor that I'm not always prepared to do a big video like that with big themes. Maybe I got to save that for when I'm in the right headspace, and maybe that's okay. And I talked about some of these things in my Live Your Essences video, just this idea of finding things that feel like an energetic match for you. If you're feeling these points of conflict, think about what is feeling right and really lean into it, because I think there's really something there too, moving forward through into that new sense of self and letting go of past versions of yourself. It feels really good. It really feels like a snake shedding a new skin, and you get to like enter this new era of creative exploration or a new era of your life. As I said, you can bring this type of examination into any point of your life. Ultimately, like change is always the way forward to getting new things in your life and learning to embrace new aspects of yourself. So I'm just really excited to see where this type of exploration takes me going forward too. Where am I creating that feels like such a roadblock? What am I hanging on to that just doesn't serve me anymore? So that's really it for this video. I just really wanted to do a quick examination of things you can learn from when you're feeling something, and how sometimes style, as simple as it may seem, can actually teach you some bigger lessons about yourself. And just a quick note, don't worry, like I still want to explore some like soft gothic looks sometimes. A bold look will happen here, but ultimately I want to be creating a space that feels inspiring because I'm also inspired. Hope you guys are also excited for maybe some new directions with the channel, or just maybe some more honed in directions with the channel when it comes to my makeup looks and conversations. I'd love to hear from you guys. What have you learned from in the past that was a point of resistance for you? What have you learned from leaning into change and like honoring cycles and honoring the fact that you aren't the same person that you used to be? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. And that's it for today. Toasty, let's take it away. Because change is good sometimes, isn't it, Toasty? He's like, no, I don't like change. I want everything to be the same every day. Everybody's home all the time and nobody ever leaves and everything's okay. Anyway, thanks as always for sticking it out until the end. Definitely look at my Patreon for some bonus content where sometimes I get a little bit more deeper with these types of conversations. And until next time, may you all find yourselves a little bit of makeup magic, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, witches.